Hello, everyone. We're a few minutes early. So great to see everybody. Make sure you say hello if you're watching. If this is your first time, say, "This is my first time." We are so glad you're here. Hello, everyone. We're starting a couple minutes early. If you can hear me, let me know. I can take this out of my ear now. Always makes my ear itchy. Hello, everyone. Look, I'm sporting my new cup that my mama gave me. It has a sewing machine. So, let me put it over here. It's less noisy when I set it down. Just to let you know, a heads up. Oh, good. You can hear me good. Yay. I think my mom and I are getting what Harlan has been sick with the last couple of days. So I'm hoping to get through this evening. And yeah, if I have to shut down in a hurry, my apologies. We're going to try and get through. Cindy, it's your first time. I'm so glad you're here. We're a few minutes early, so we're just going to chit-chat for a minute. It's so great to see everybody, right? That is an awesome cup. I'll show you a close-up. We do a name draw in our family because we have a large family. And my mom saw that cup a long time ago and ordered it just in case she drew my name. And then we did name draw. We drew names about a week ago, and she did not get my name. And the cup came in this morning, so she was like, "Here, you can have this." I was like, "Yay!" And it works so well. I put ice in it this morning, and it lasted all day long. Amazing. Hello, everybody. Roseanne, this is your first time here. I'm so glad you're here. Hello, everybody. We are just 2 minutes before we get started. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm hoping that I'm not out of service like he was. He was sick for a couple of days, and it was not good. And I'm too busy to be laid out for a couple of days. So, yes. I'm going to push through. I'm hoping that it's just a fluke and tomorrow will be better. Hello, it's so great to see everybody. I have my phone set up here, so if you see me looking off, I'm just reading some of the comments. Susan, you're going to be watching while you make some memory bears from your best friend's clothing. Aw, that is so special. Lots of people are sick. Yes, Bethany was sick, but she had something different. And so, not good. So, before we get started tonight, let me just say, I have had the funnest time this past week. I think last week's challenge has been my favorite. It has by far been the most played along challenge. I think me and my mom stopped counting at 100 selfies. And it was so good to finally put a face to the names. And everybody looks so friendly. And some of you look so familiar. I know we've never met, but it's almost like I've seen you before. Did anybody else feel that way when you were scrolling through the pictures? Like everyone looked very familiar. It might have just been me. Connie's watching while she finishes tying her t-shirt quilt. Yeah, just put your quilt in your lap and work along. Tonight we're going to do another fun challenge. I've decided to keep the challenges easy. We're not making anything for the whole month of December because everybody's so busy, right? And we're in December and we have a lot of stuff going on. So we're just going to do a fun challenge, something like last week, although no selfies this week. And so if you have to leave before the end, make sure to come back for the replay. if you're watching and you see the little live button, the little red button in one of these top screens here, you're watching us live. If you don't see that little live red button, then you're watching the replay. And if you're on YouTube, this is a replay. We were live on Facebook, but I'm so glad you're here, and you can comment in the comment section down below. So tonight we have 14 show and tells, and then 2 topics and a challenge. So yeah, if you have to leave before we're done tonight, make sure to come back, watch the replay, and look at everybody's fun stuff. Oh, it's so good to see everybody. Live is gray. I look gray. Might be because I'm sick or I'm getting sick. Vicki, you've been washing walls and curtains. That sounds like my last weekend. So yeah, we had Thanksgiving, and then the day after Thanksgiving, we started cleaning house and then decorating for Christmas. So it's been a busy, busy past couple of days. Vicki, I feel your pain. I was washing and dusting. The live button is gray. That's weird. Mine is red. Who else has a gray live button? Colleen, you're off to yoga. Do some stretching for me. Sherilyn, yours is red. Thank you, Vicki. Yeah, Terry, if I have to duck out for a minute, I'll yell for Harlan and he can come entertain y'all. And he would be so good at it because he is very entertaining. All right, anybody with an iPad, do you know how to turn on comments? Mary, I guess, is using an iPad and maybe cannot see the comments. So if you can let her know in the comment section. So we are after 8. And so I'm going to not focus on the comments so much because I get distracted, and we could just sit here and chat all night, but I have some really fun stuff to share with you. And so we'll go ahead and get started. And then if we get through everything pretty quickly, then I'll sit here and chat for a little bit because I love doing that. So let's go ahead and switch some screens around. We'll start tonight with the show and tell. Switch that around. Yeah, we have 14 different show and tell items this evening. Tonight we're going to start with Chantel. And she's just giving us an update of what all she's been working on. She said she will be here tonight, and I believe she is. Yes, she is. She's here. Besides my t-shirt quilt becoming a UFO, decorating for Christmas, and trying to get over sinusitis. I'm not saying that correctly. I already know that. I started on my nephew's quilts. This one should be easier to deal with. I decided after seeing different YouTubes that I would go for an easier project. My first quilt would be a rag sandwich quilt. Right now, all I have is a messy table, trying to get organized for those quilts. I might have something to show later, but for now, at 8:35 a.m., not much to show. P.S. The main reason for this change is lack of time. When I finish my nephew's quilts, I will have more time to work on my t-shirt quilts. Since it's looking challenging, I would take my time to do it right the first time and not make a mess out of it all. Yes, I think that when you slow down and you really focus and you don't have a lot of other projects going on, you probably will make a lot less mistakes. I think you'll enjoy yourself more too. So that was posted at 8:35 this morning. I'm wondering if you got anything done. I didn't see anything else come through, I don't think, of yours. But yes, keep us updated on those quilts. And yeah, I think you're going to enjoy yourself much more once you are able just to focus primarily on a single quilt. So keep us updated, okay? I appreciate you updating us. Next, we're going to move to Darlene, who has 4 different pictures to share with us tonight. I'll pull up the first one so you have something to look at as we read. I'm sorry. So here is one of 3 I hope to have finished in the next week or so. It is also the first quilt where I have completed the binding by hand. Congratulations! I thought I would hate it, but it's actually quite relaxing. 2 more to finish binding and I'll be done for Christmas. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel, Darlene. Your quilting is so wonderful. I love it. So on the screen, what you can see here, it looks like you did lots of free motion quilting work with a meandering stitch. I love it. Let's pull up the next picture. Y'all prepare yourselves for this. Look at this quilt. This must be the one that you finished the binding by hand. Isn't that so bright and cheerful? I love yellow with blue. I see a couple hints of purple in there too. So, this pattern kind of looks familiar to me. I did one that was similar to this, except mine had stars in the middle of your squares. Is there a quilt pattern that you can share with us, Darlene? Here's another view of the quilt. Aren't these fabrics fabulous? I love the circle design in the bottom corner. This is a fun quilt just to sit and look at. This is her last picture, and you'll see the phenomenal quilt label she put on the back. The gray backing is perfect for this quilt. It's a great contrast, but it goes with everything. Awesome. So how did you make your quilt label? I can't quite make it out from this picture. So it looks like maybe you did some hand embroidery. I can't quite tell. So Darlene, if you're here or if you join us later, I'm hoping that you can update us on how you did your quilt label and the pattern for this quilt, if you remember it or if you know it off the top of your head. What a great quilt. So is this one a Christmas present? I'm looking through your comment. I'm thinking this is a Christmas present for someone. Christmas 2019. Yes, I can make that out. So, yes, I hope you get pictures of whoever gets this quilt when they open it up. Keep us updated on your other quilts. Maybe next week we will have more quilts of yours to look at. Next, we have Tracy, who has 2 photos. Okay, I want y'all to think back for a second as I move this over to the window. Remember a couple weeks ago, Tracy gave us an update on a quilt that she was making for a police officer who was injured in the line of duty. We have an update, and I got permission. We can share these photos I got a text from the person that I did the police officer's quilt for. She gave it to him on Thanksgiving, being so thankful that he survived his injuries. She said he loves it. She sent me several photos. Here are a couple. It makes my heart so happy that he likes it. I'm so glad that he and his family love it. Y'all, some of my favorite moments when making a quilt. I love the whole process. Okay, I love meeting with the families. I love going over the shirts and the memories with them. I love preparing and making and quilting the quilt. But one of my favorite things about the whole process is that when the family comes to get their quilt and they see it for the first time in person, and if I'm making it for someone and they are gifting it to someone, seeing the pictures after they get their quilt. There is something so special about this quilt, knowing the history of some of the clothing items that are included in this quilt. And yeah, that is awesome. That is so awesome, Tracy. I'm so glad that they shared that with you and that you were able to update us and share with us. I have one more photo of the back of the quilt, which is very fitting with the blue line going across the back. It's awesome. That is so, so awesome. Looks like you have a little quilt label down at the bottom. I'm wondering how you made your quilt label. Yes, what a blessing he is still here. If he ever sees this, thank you so much for your service. And yes, we are all so happy for Tracy. We are happy for you and your family. What an awesome quilt. Don't y'all love getting updates like the stuff we've looked at before and then we get to see it again in its finished state? I love the updates. Now I have a couple of pictures from Vicki that I'm going to share. And just know I see all the comments going through and I can't wait to read them, but I'm focusing on this until we're done this evening. So if you have questions for me specifically, and you can hold off till the end, I would love to chat with you. So remember to post your your comments and questions at the end. But until then, y'all chat with each other because it's like a family reunion. All right. Here's Vicki's quilt. I love the navy fabric on the back. My son-in-law is in the Navy. I like looking through all of the different logos. The Yoda up at the top. That's my favorite one on this quilt. And I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but I still love Yoda. That's a fun quilt to look at. I see Spider-Man in there. That's a lot of fun stuff to look at. What is also really neat is that Vicki made a duffel bag for this quilt. Now earlier, because I was busy today making pillows, and putting together the slideshow, Vicki, I saw that you updated. Someone asked you about the duffel bag and asked you for a pattern for it, and you were giving some instructions. So if you're interested in the duffel bag, Vicki, I think, has typed out how she made it in the announcement for today's live. So if you'd like to see that, you can go through and read her comments, and maybe Vicki can make a post about it too. If if she has a lot of interest on how she made the duffel bag. I think that's such a great idea because, you know, a lot of my quilts are like the throw size quilts and they're great size to stuff in a backpack. Having a duffel bag made specific for the quilt is awesome. That almost looks like a fleece. It looks soft and cuddly. I might be wrong. I can't tell, but it almost looks like a fleece. I love the duffel bag idea, Vicki. I'm so glad you shared that, and I'm hoping that if anyone is interested, y'all will get with Vicki on how to make these. Thank you so much, Vicki, for sharing an update on your quilt. Now here's something fun for y'all to look at. So Miss Terry shared these stars. I think it was last week, in the show and tell last week. Look what she did with them. She says, "Hi everyone, so last week I showed some Scandinavian stars that I made. Here's a picture of a display I have in my house of them for Christmas. It is a window grid I had from building my house, and I had added a frame to display projects. Just something fun for me. Have a great week." Isn't that awesome? A little off topic, but not really. So a couple weekends ago, Harlan and I went antiquing, and that's when I bought that great big ladder to put the quilts on. At that place, it was a great big, huge, like barn warehouse kind of place. And they had all kinds of stuff like chests, hope chests, chairs, tables, desk, all kinds of furniture and hutches and dressers and lockers, like gym lockers, which I thought was really interesting. I was almost tempted to get myself some lockers. But anyway, they also have reclaimed wood, reclaimed doors, and reclaimed windows. And how awesome would it be, getting back on track, to go get a window and make a display? You could display all kinds of stuff, like these stars. You could make little quilted ornaments and hang them in the little window panes. Roseanne, if you're still here, you could do sea glass in those. I think there's so many things you could do with these window panes. I love this. I would probably, Terry, keep this up all year. You could change out the fabric on your stars for the different holidays, or just, you know, colors of your room. I would keep this up all year. I'm so glad you showed us how you were going to use those. I love it. Okay, this is the night for updates, y'all. We've had so many updates already, but we have another one from Janet. Now, y'all remember, Janet, several lives, has shared her progress in making these aprons. And so here you go. Excuse me. Sorry, this is kind of a dark evening picture. My 3 girls wearing their pre-Christmas aprons. From left to right, you have the oldest, Christy, who is single, so I made hers Hunky Christmas Guys. Y'all remember we saw that one last week. The middle is Wendy. She is an RN, so I had saved nursing fabrics. And the youngest, all the way on the right, is Meredith. Has always loved gingerbread men, and so hers were gingerbread men fabrics. They each put a cell phone in the top pocket and ladle holders and the belt loops. And Wendy added snacks to her pockets. That's what I would do. And they had them for Thanksgiving. So thankful for this pattern. Janet, you have been busy, busy, busy making these aprons. I've enjoyed seeing your updates throughout the past couple of weeks. And yes, it looks like they love them. Don't you love that about fabric? That you can customize a project, take one project and customize it 3 different ways to someone's personality and what they do or what they collect or what they love or passionate about. That's so much fun. I'm so glad you had so much fun with that apron. I think that is awesome. See y'all, it's the night for updates. Thank you, Janet, for sending in that picture. I love seeing that. So Sherilyn has a quilt update for us. Hoping to be there tonight. I think I saw you. But this is what me and my friend did this week. Whoa. I think that's fabulous. You and your friend did it. I'm curious to know, did y'all both like sew together the top and piece it and put it together? I've been trying to convince my good friend Roseanne, who I think is here, to learn how to sew. She doesn't live that far away and she could come and sew with me. I think this quilt is fabulous. Now, is this something that y'all just came up with, the layout, or was this a pattern? And if it is a pattern, is there somewhere you can lead us to for the pattern name of this quilt? It looks like it goes together relatively simple, but yet gives a really cool, like almost 3D effect, the way that you've laid it out. What are your plans for this quilt? Y'all take a look at the back. One of my goals for next year is to start piecing my backs because I think they're just so interesting. And so yes, I'll probably start piecing my backs, something like this. And I'll just leave that on the screen so everyone can see that for a second. That looks like so much fun, sewing with your friend. I wonder how long it took y'all to get this done. And did you sew? Or did you primarily just sit and chit-chat? I think that's probably what I would do. I don't know how much sewing would get done. I love your quilt. We'll pull up the front one more time before we move over. And I hope to get more information from you, like, are you keeping the quilt? Or is she keeping the quilt? Or are y'all giving the quilt to someone else? Inquiring minds want to know. All right, we're going to move to Miss Becky. So, Becky has some fun news. She bought a new to me sewing machine on Friday. She got a Bernina 770 QE, 770 QE. This will be my first quilt with it. It is a Christmas gift for my niece. I'm assuming the quilt is the Christmas gift for your niece. So what do you think of your new machine? That is so exciting. I always get so happy when people upgrade their machines or their stuff. And so you'll have to let us know what you think of the machine so far. How is it sewing? And are you having a blast with it? It looks like you're moving right along on this quilt. How big will this quilt be? I love the colors in this. The teal with the neutrals. The teal kind of pops off the quilt. I think it's very pretty. She's going to love this quilt, and I hope you keep us updated as you move along in the progress of this quilt, and keep us updated on what you think of your new machine. I'm so happy for you. All right, we're going to move over to Miss Kathy, who has a super adorable Christmas stocking. So she has a stocking show and tell. I dreamed up this idea and made me and my best friend's dog's stockings. Just takes some fleece and some Christmas fat quarters and a bit of ribbon to hand it from. Fun and easy. So Kathy, I know you have a blog, right? So is this on your blog? And would you be willing to like take pictures and maybe show a step by step on how you made this? It's super cute. So this past Sunday, I had the Victorian Christmas stocking was featured on a live on YouTube, since we're talking about stockings. And yeah, so it's like the week of stockings. She was making hers for her horse, which I thought was so cool. And she showed a picture of her horse. And I always think it's fun to see the different stocking ideas for our pets, our furry family members. And so I really got a kick out of seeing your stocking. I love the little bones with the name and the date on it. You are so clever. What do y'all think about this stocking? Don't you want to make some? Kathy, I'm so glad you shared that. Sally has an update for us. She is finishing up a 6-year-old UFO. Look at this quilt. 6 years in the making. Sally, I'm so glad you got that out and you're going to finish it up. I cannot wait to see how you finish this. I would love to see a full picture of this quilt because this is like teasing my eyes. I want to see like the whole thing. I would love to see what you use as the backing and what are your plans for quilting this? I love quilts like this. I think the black and white little corners that come together to form the little square, the checkered square in the middle, that is so brilliant. That is so much fun to look at. Sally, I'm really hoping you post more pictures as you go along on this quilt. I'm so happy that you've pulled it out and you're finally going to finish this up. Are you keeping it when you're done? What are your plans with this quilt? After 6 years, I would keep it. Is that just me? I think that goes back to something we were talking about previously in another live. You know, when you invest so much time or have a project that goes on for so long, you get emotionally attached, and then it's hard to release the quilt or give it away. So I'm always interested, like after 6 years, what are your plans for this quilt? Okay, Miss Bonnie, let's pull up what you've been working on. Just says, okay, this is the new quilt I'm working on, but as you can see, I'm having a problem putting on the top and bottom and side strips and the cornerstones. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. God bless. So, okay, Bonnie, I'm hoping that maybe if you have to leave before we move on, before we're finished tonight, come back and watch the replay, because in the topics and tips, I'm going to be going over something that is going to help you out with this quilt, because I will tell you, this quilt looks a lot like the Daisy Days quilt. And I have a tutorial on adding the sashing and the cornerstones that will help you with this quilt, because it looks like it's almost the same. Mine was a square and a square. Mine had a daisy applique in the middle. Okay. So if you just remove the daisy out of the middle, it kind of looks like the same. So I'm going to be sharing pictures of what that video looks like and a picture of that quilt here in just a little bit, so that you know what video to go and look for on YouTube. But you know what? There's so many videos out there. I'm not the only one who's made some really fantastic videos on adding sashing and cornerstones. From the pictures, I can't see how you're having the issue. So maybe you can go into more here, specific questions that we might be able to help you with. But yes, maybe someone else is giving you some great tips too. But I do have a video on YouTube that might be able to help you walk through adding your sashing. And if anybody else has any tips that they can give Bonnie, that would be greatly appreciated. I see lots of purple. You're speaking my love language. And Bonnie, too, you know that you could post pictures anytime you want here on our Creative Crew group, and you're going to get lots of feedback and hopefully answers to your questions. And so, yeah, if you are having an issue, post it on our page as well, and we'll hopefully be able to get you past the areas that you're having the problem with. I can't wait to see this quilt put together with all that purple. Yeah, hold on for a little bit if you're still here. If not, you can hold on, watch the replay, and come back. The topics and tips, we're going to go over the video that I want you to see. Oh, yes, you're here. So, yeah, hold on. If you can stay, Bonnie, stay for a little bit longer, okay? So Miss Debbie has been busy. She has 2 pictures she's going to share with us tonight, and this is the first one. This one she's been working on. This is for my daughter-in-law for Christmas. She does lots of crochet, and look how pretty her stitches are. I do crochet, but my sides are never straight down. Like, I always end up adding an extra stitch somewhere. My sides are never that straight, Debbie. What a great job. She is so busy. She's She owns her own business. She's going to school. She's got a kiddo. And she's crocheting all of these projects and working on a quilt. So, yes, I love that so much. One day, maybe if I do it enough, I will get better and my sides won't be all wonkety wonkety on the adding the extra stitches in there, or maybe I'm not adding enough. Somehow they get wonky on the sides. I think that is so pretty. So yeah, it looks like you're still working on this. What yarns are you using to make this? If you could let us know, that would be great. I have another project of yours that we're going to pull up. This one might be a little bit hard to see because it looks like it's navy. So it's a little bit darker to see, but look at the yellow stitching. You can really see the stitches in the yellow sections of this. She said, I've been working on this for a client for her daughter for Christmas. The young lady picked these colors because she's planning on going into the Navy when she graduates. That is so special. She's gonna love it. How much more do you have left to do before she gets it? I can't quite tell how long it is. It looks like it might be draped over a chair. But yes, in the yellow section, you can really see the detail of the stitches. So if you can let us know the type of yarn you're using for this too. Yes, you are so busy. All the time you are busy, busy. I know you'll be glad when you're done with school and then maybe you can slow down a little bit. I'm so glad you shared your stuff. And you want to talk about busy? Let's move over to D. And this is our last show and tell for this evening. Look at all of these packages. She says, just so no one thinks I've been slacking. Yeah, you have not been slacking. These were yesterday's orders plus 2 boxes, not in the picture. I had 14 more today, but didn't take a picture. Gotta love Christmas season when you are making stockings. A couple are hats, but mostly stockings. Yeah, we were just talking about the stockings. That's the season we're in. So when you say orders, D, are these custom orders that you have been working on for a while, or is it something like you have an Etsy shop and these were your Black Friday sales and you packed them up? I'm curious. Either way, you've certainly not been slacking. That is a lot of stuff. But yes, I got excited because, you know, we just came out of Black Friday and then yesterday was Cyber Monday. Etsy is doing a whole Cyber Week thing. It actually ends, tomorrow's the last day for that. So at first I was like, whoa, because this reminds me back of my eBay days. And Black Friday weekend, my front porch looked like this. It's so exciting. Oh, that water stays cold in that cup. So yes, I'm not sure if you're here. And you can let us know if you have an Etsy shop. One of the things that, you know, we put in place those new rules, and so kind of go against adding Etsy shops on our page. But during a live, if you want to share that, feel free to share your Etsy shop information. I would love to go see your stockings if that's what you have, or maybe these are just custom orders. I'm not sure. But yes, I would have loved to see all your stuff. I'm so happy for you. It looks like you're doing a phenomenal business. I ran out of mints. I did not bring any more mints. So yes, that was all of our show and tell stuff. We had so many updates tonight. I am so glad y'all are sharing all of your stuff. It's so much fun to look at everything. And we are just breezing through this evening. So you'll see, oh, nope. Yeah, okay, that's the right screen. I'm getting all my screens mixed up. So tonight we have two different topics and tips. And in this section, Bonnie, I'll be sharing some information for you too, because this is sort of applicable to your quilt that you're working on. So first we're going to start with Sally this evening. And she has a tip to share with everybody. And it's a money-saving tip. Sally shared this picture and she said, I picked up these gloves at Lowe's to use for quilting gloves. They have the rubber on the palms and fingers and they were only $4. Craftsman gloves for $4. Were they on sale or is that the normal price? That's an awesome deal. I love it when we share ways to save money with each other because I'm all about doing my stuff on a budget and this is great. So yeah, if y'all need quilting gloves, go to Lowe's and check these out because Sally posted a picture. They have a red Craftsman tag on them. They have rubber on the palms and the fingers. Helps you move around that quilt while you're quilting it. Thank you so much, Sally, for sharing that. I love it. I love money-saving tips. All right, Sherilyn has a question for us, and this is where we're going to be talking about the sashing. And first we'll address Sherilyn's question, and then my answer to her is also going to apply to Bonnie as well. And this is really just a starting place, okay? But she says, I have a question regarding a memory quilt. Is it easier to add a 1.5 to 2 inch border around the clothing versus applique it to a background piece? So when you ask that question, my first thought is that, let's say you have 12 squares that you've cut out of t-shirts and they're all the same size. And you want some sashing in between your blocks to divide them up a little bit. And you're wondering, is it easier to add a border, which is the sashing around your blocks, versus somehow bonding the t-shirt onto, let's say, a huge sheet and appliquing the squares? I'm going to urge you to piece the sashing onto your blocks versus gluing or bonding your squares to a big piece of fabric. That's just me wanting you to elevate your sewing skills just a little bit, okay? Certainly you could do it the other way. You could get a great big piece of fabric. You could piece together a top that's all one piece and put your squares onto it, space them out, run that whole big top through your sewing machine with a zigzag or a satin stitch. You could do that. But I'm going to urge you to do the piecing with the sashing. Okay? So back in this summertime, we did a quilt along called Daisy Days. And if you go to my YouTube channel, there's a whole series on it. I forget, there's like 6 videos in that series, maybe. And I walk you step by step on how to make this quilt. And in part 4, we sew the quilt top together. Now, when we did this, I walked you through adding the sashing to each row and then assembling the rows together to make the quilt top. The way that I added the sashing in this video makes it super, super easy to add the sashing to your blocks. So I really urge you to go check out this video. And Bonnie, this is for YouTube because this is sort of applicable to what you're doing, your quilt. Go check out part 4 of the Daisy Days quilt and see if it doesn't convince you to add the sashing in this way. But either way, I hope you keep us updated. I'm just urging you to step out of your comfort zone a little bit and try this. Now, the sashing that I used for the Daisy Days quilt, it was like 4.5 inches wide, so it's much wider than what you are planning to add to yours. Still works the exact same way, and I walk you through the first row and which order to sew your pieces on, the second row, which order to sew your pieces on, and then, yeah, and then it's on, and you just assemble your rows. And so it's really super duper easy if you follow this video. And there's tons and tons of videos out there. This is just a starting place, okay? But this one I think will help you. Let's take a look at that quilt all finished. So yeah, there's that quilt all finished. And the long diamonds and the cornerstones, those are the pieces that I show how to assemble the cornerstones and the sashing, and then add it to your blocks and in which order to do that. So that's just me pushing you outside of your comfort zone. Like I said, certainly you could bond it to a large piece of fabric and then sew all of that down. I think in the long run, you know, just thinking about it, I don't know that that's going to save you any time. Maybe. I don't know. Because I would want to make sure that you sew down all those pieces really, really well. You would be maneuvering your whole quilt top through your throat space in your machine to do that. So I think it would just be just as quick to actually piece the sashing onto your blocks. And that's just me. What do y'all think? Lisa says, say you bond the t-shirt to a little larger block. You could then add sashing in another color between all those blocks. Yeah, you could do that. Chantel's sashing, let's see. When you look at this quilt that you see up on the screen, I'm going to make it bigger. Okay, this was the Daisy Days quilt. If you haven't seen this, it's a series on my YouTube channel. We did this in different sections. Each video we put together a different section. So the first section was the square and square. So you have the white square with the daisy in it and the denim pieces around it that make up the square block, okay? The blue diamonds with the yellow little triangles, that is sashing. It's the piece that goes in between each one of your blocks, and it adds design, and it also adds division between your blocks. The cornerstone is the dark blue denim that's inside the yellow star. Like if you look at the quilt differently, you actually see a yellow star pop up. That blue, dark blue square in the center of that yellow star is the cornerstone. So there you have your sashing and cornerstones. Maybe that explains it a little bit. Hopefully that answers your question. If not, I can always post some different pictures that I find on the internet on our page. Okay. All right, good. The video keeps freezing up. Is it just me? How's the video for everybody else? It looks like it's okay on my end, but that doesn't mean a hill of beans. It could just be my end. So yeah, Bonnie, go check out part 4. And Sherilyn, go check out part 4 and see what you think about sewing the sashing. Either way, you could go both ways. I hope you keep us updated on what you decide to do and share pictures with us. So we have some people saying it's freezing up and some say it's fine. It's not your end. Okay, it must not be my end. Maybe it'll clear up. One thing, you know, Harlan reminded me after last week with the comments getting frozen and everything, if you're having a problem with the video freezing up, maybe leave us for a second, go to your homepage on Facebook, come back to the Creative Crew group and join the chat again and see if that doesn't unfreeze everything. Go do that and come right back. We're just going to be doing some transitions on the screen and you're not going to miss very much if you go and come back. So yeah, that was it. We had 2 topics and tips for this week. Sally, thank you so much for sharing that about the glove. If y'all run into special things like that out and about in your Christmas shopping and you want to share, we would love to see in the future live videos. So for this week's creative challenge, I mentioned in the very beginning of this video that I had so much fun. If you've just come in and you missed the very beginning, didn't you love this past week? It has been my most favorite challenge that we have ever done so far. It was like I was seeing a bunch of friends. So many of you looked like you were familiar, like I've met you, even though we've never met. How funny is that? And I think we lost count at 100 selfies. There were more than that. And so, you know, when I was preparing for last week, I thought for sure that the selfie challenge was going to tank. Like no one was going to participate. That was my thought going into the challenge for last week. And I was blown away. Some of you even posted selfies before we were even done with our chat last week. It's been so much fun, like every day, just seeing everyone's picture come up. You all look so friendly. You look like family. It's been the most fun. So this week we have a simple challenge. We'll move away from the selfies, but let me pull it up on the screen. Because we're so busy, everyone is just swarmed with stuff that we're trying to get done for Christmas. So this is going to be an easy one. You could do this in 2 or 3 minutes. Post a photo of something you should not run out of. Now this could be in your crafting studio. This could be in your kitchen, like a staple that you should always have on hand and you should never run out of it. Think about it. What are some of the things that you always have on hand, and when you start running low, it gets put on the list to get more? So in my creative space, today I was working on some pillows for a client, and I opened up a new bolt of the Capen P44F, and as soon as I open up that bolt, I go to Amazon and I order another one because I always like to have a backup on the shelf. That's one of my things. As soon as I open up that, I'm ordering another one because I don't ever want to run out. That's one of my things. What's one of your things? In my kitchen, this is the thing that I should never run out of in my kitchen. Who drinks this coffee? It's only one of the best coffees there ever is if you've never tried it and you love coffee. Try it out. But I should never run out of this. As soon as I open up my new package, it gets put on the list so that the next time I'm at the store, I get more. So that's a pretty easy challenge, right? Most of you won't have to think that terribly hard to think of things in your house or your studio or your creative space that you don't ever want to run out of something. So you should be able to play along in this challenge, I would think. And it's going to look different for everybody. And so I'm excited to see what all kinds of stuff we see this week. And yeah, so there's my 2 things, the coffee and the Capen P44F. Not running out of either one of those things. So yes, we got done a little bit early tonight, which is awesome because we can go through and chat for a little bit. If my comments want to work this evening, we'll see how that goes. Bonnie says, I will watch part 4 of your video. Good. Yeah, Bonnie. And maybe it'll spark some interest or some ideas on how to get you through your quilts. But if my video doesn't, there's so many out there. So many great tutorials. And so just keep scrolling through the videos until you find something. Linda, do you have snow where you are? Hello, Gina. Lisa's going to share her blocks tomorrow. Yeah, the selfie challenge was my all-time favorite so far. Connie, are you asking me if I've ever glue basted a quilt? Yes. I have lots of videos on that. Evelyn says she wasn't going to do the selfie challenge, but then she did it and it was fun. I'm so glad you thought it was fun. Linda, you're right. It was awesome to put a face with a name. Hello, Maureen. How are you this evening? Mary, if you're talking about the selfies, keep taking one until you get one that you like. It's never too late, even we're moving on to a different challenge. Keep taking your selfies until you get one that you like, and you can post it anytime. Gina, you did a video. Did I miss questions earlier? What kind of video did you do? I want to see your video. Terry says her thing is tea. I love myself some Earl Grey tea. That's my favorite tea. Beverly, Beverly is telling you, encouraging you to take your selfie. Barbara says the Dunkin' Donuts coffee pods are a must for her every day. Linda says garlic powder and toilet paper. My studio is stocked. Jan says Diet Dr. Pepper. Connie has a good question. Let's go back. Have you ever glue basted? I can't tell, Connie. Are you asking me if I've ever glue basted? Yes. And a lot of my earlier videos with the t-shirt quilts, of course, you can apply this to patchwork. You can apply it to all kinds of stuff. But if you scroll through my channel, even in the title, you'll see glue basting. And I love it. I am a huge fan of glue basting. If you want perfect points every time, glue baste your quilt. If you're having trouble with t-shirt, if you're making a t-shirt quilt, and sometimes, you know, that stuff is squishy. It doesn't play right most of the time. If you're having problems with your t-shirt material, squishing around, or getting tucks, folds, glue based, it eliminates all of that. All of it. It takes the hassle out. It is a little bit time consuming, but so is pinning, right? And with the glue basting, you don't have the pins that are constantly poking your fingers. And if you use the Elmer School glue, when you wash your quilt, the glue all comes out, so there's not going to be any of that glue in your quilt when you're done. And yes, it is so, so helpful. Go to my earlier videos, because I haven't done one on glue basting for a while now, but I've made several videos on it. And again, I'm not the only person who has tutorials on it. If you just type glue basting quilt seams on YouTube in the search bar, you'll see binding. You could put your binding on, glue baste your binding. Perfect binding every single time. Yes, I'm a glue baster. Bonnie, if you're doing applique, you don't always have to put the stuff on the back, although Heat and Bond Light is probably one of my favorite products, but I have videos on using freezer paper for your applique, and freezer paper is cheap, especially when you buy the great big box from Walmart. That roll will last you forever, and you use glue, Elmer's glue, and freezer paper. And then once you put your applique onto the fabric and you dry the glue, you take the freezer paper off, and then your applique has the same drape as the rest of your quilt. There's no stiffness, and it's very cost-effective way of doing applique. There's videos on my channel for that too. Terry says, how do you decide what kind of sewing machine to get? Mine is a Viking Husqvarna 500, and it's 20 years old. I want to update, but have no idea where to start. Also, I am drinking Earl Grey tea right now. Yay! Okay, so you want a new machine. what you need to do, Terry, because that's going to look different for all of us, is you need to make a list of features that you must have in your new machine, and then features that it would be nice if they are there, but they don't have to be there, because we all have different price points too, right, that we're working with. And so when I switched from my Brother patchwork machine, which was a beast of a machine, I love that machine. After using that machine for 3 years, every single day in my studio, making tons and tons of t-shirt quilts, heavy duty quilts, it still works perfectly. But I knew that I needed I wanted some features in a machine that the Brother patchwork, the Singer patchwork machine did not have. Okay, I wanted a knee lift. I wanted to be able to lower my feed dogs. Let's see, there were a couple other things, and trying to think off the top of my head. I wanted a different free motion foot. The free motion foot on the Juki, you can adjust the height of it, and so I liked that feature. And there were all kinds of stitches on the Juki that the Brother didn't have. But yes, my primary thing is I wanted to be able to lower the feed dogs. On the Singer patchwork, there was a little plate that covers the feed dogs, which works fine. But I wanted to be able to lower them into the base of the machine. So what you need to do is you need to make up a list. And that might mean going through and watching tons of reviews on machines and seeing which machine has what features you're looking for to get an idea. I think you need to go into it educated before you just walk into a store or walk into someone's house that's selling a machine and letting them up talk the machine. You need to know yourself what features are on that machine before you even look at it. And then I would say most definitely you need to sit down and like play with the machine, especially if you're spending a good amount of money, or if you're buying from someone who is selling it like privately. Make sure it works. Make sure that they've been taking care of it. But yeah, make a list of the features that you want in your new machine. And then the hunt is just on to find that machine that meets all of the criteria that you're looking for. I also wanted a machine that had a little bit of a bigger throat space. And so maybe that's something you might want to consider. Maureen says, if you have shaky hands like me, glue-based. Yeah, my hands, I have the little trimmer things. Is it just Elmer school glue, or any school glue will do? I've seen many people use just a school glue, like an off-brand school glue that works fine. I even sometimes with my t-shirt quilts, when I'm using like sweatshirts or sweaters or jeans, sometimes the Elmer school glue, I have a hard time keeping that bonded with the school glue. So I will use like Elmer's Glue All, which is a little bit stronger. And I've always seen it wash out of my quilts. And so I will use that sometimes. But I've also seen many, I belong to many other quilting groups here on Facebook. And I read lots of comments on YouTube videos. And yeah, I've seen people use like off-brand school glue, and it seems to work fine. So yeah, you could always get some and experiment with it with your scraps. Especially if you're making a t-shirt quilt, and a lot of the times we don't use this little bit of the sleeve area. Pull off one of the sleeves and just try it and see. Oh, Connie, you mean glue basting your quilt together, your sandwich together. Yes. Now, I don't have to baste my quilts anymore because of the long arm, but before I got that, yes, I would glue baste my quilts together, and it worked fabulous. And there was one time I tried to put it in a squirt bottle, and I made it too thin, and it really didn't hold that well. And if it's too thick, then it sort of clogged up the squirt bottle. We've had talks about this in previous lives. So if you have like some time to spare in this busy season before Christmas, maybe you can check out some of those because we talked about glue basting the quilts together. But yes, I also know that there are videos on this on YouTube, not my videos, but some helpful videos that you can watch. It works great, and I prefer it over the spray basting, the Kansas spray basting, only because that has such a strong smell and it gives me like a really bad headache. So, but yes, you can do that. Going through and reading some comments. Linda says, if I got a new machine, I would want needle down, automatic thread cutter, and moving the needle position left to right and center. Those are all really great features. The Juki that I have has the needle down, and yes, it also has an automatic thread cutter, which is handy. I like that. Chantel, I'm not quite sure what you're asking. Can you sew a thick, fussy blanket with my quilt? I'm not quite sure. Yeah, Sandy uses the 505 spray to sandwich her quilts. But she also pins just for safety. You sound like me, Sandy. Yes, the pool noodles do. Oh, that saves a lot of time too, and it helps keep everything nice and flat as you are basting your quilts. So yes, I've had a lot of fun going through all of the updates tonight. I've had a lot of fun just chatting with you. I'm not quite sure. Chantel, I'm not quite sure how to answer your question. Okay. I have a thick children's blanket which is old and I would like to reuse it on a quilt. Oh, sure. Yeah, you could do that. If you do that, you might not need to add a batting in the middle of your quilt. You know, make a top for it and use your old blanket as the batting and the backing. That's an idea. Or you could cut patches out of your blanket. You know, maybe it's worn and has holes or something. Cut the good parts off and use that. Terry uses the basting spray. Linda bought a new machine last year, a Viking Topaz. I've heard a lot of good stuff about that machine. So yeah, Chantel, if you want, you could take pictures of your blanket and post them on our group page. And then think it's always easier to answer questions when you actually get to see the item that you're working with. And then we can help you like more detailed and more specific. So if you want to take pictures of your blanket and post them on our group page, I'm sure we'd be able to help send you in the right direction. I'm not sure about your sewing machine though. I don't remember what sewing machine you're using. If you have a walking foot, that would be helpful. Okay, good. You'll post pictures. We'll be able to see what you're actually working with. Also, let us know what kind of sewing machine you have, and let us know if you have a walking foot. That'll probably come in handy if your blanket is thick. It is also probably going to come in handy if you have a table where you can situate your machine so that it has table space, lots of table space behind the machine, and maybe set up a folding card table or something to your left somewhere for that heaviness of the quilt to sit and rest while you are trying to finish it, because that will take a lot of stress off of your machine. Honey says, you are a great chatter and lots of company and smart too. Thank you. I love you and look forward to seeing you weekly. Thank you so much, Connie. Thank you. I think I'm getting better at doing the lives. We've been doing it for a few weeks now, and I'm trying to, a couple weeks ago we had the goal challenge. What are your goals for next year? And I've been working on mine because one of my goals is on my Lisa Capen Quilts page to be more active and engaging on that page, and go live a couple of times a week over there, just random times throughout my day. And so I've been practicing, and I think I'm starting to get a little bit easier. I don't break out in a cold sweat when I hit live, so that's good. Is your coffee the K-Pods or ground coffee? I'm thinking it would be a good stocking stuffer. The Cafe Bustelo comes in, that what you see on the screen is a little brick, and it's like really finely ground. Now, I'm a little bit of a coffee snob, y'all. I used to own a coffee shop. It says ground espresso. However, when I made espresso, it was ground a little bit even more finer than this. But this is way more finer than your regular grind of coffee, okay? That is in a brick. They have it in the cans, and they also sell it in the K-cups. So I buy it like this, and I have a Keurig with the little refillable cups. And so I just spoon some in there and use that refillable because it's so much cheaper. And at Walmart, you can buy this for like $3, under $3 sometimes. And so for under $3, we get lots and lots of coffee, and I just refill my little refillable K-cup thing. And it's delicious, but it's strong. If you like strong coffee, you would like this. Gina, you just started your YouTube channel. All right, before we go, Gina, tell us your YouTube channel name. I'm going to write it down. Everybody write this down. Don't get nervous, Gina. Share us your YouTube channel name. When we're done tonight, I'm going to go check out your channel. Yeah, I am getting a little bit more relaxed, Linda. A little bit. Let me scroll through and see. Yeah, Susie, we have lots of updates from tonight. So when we stop, go back and watch. We had a lot of fun updates, stuff you've seen people working on, sharing updated pictures tonight. So that's a lot of fun. So Gina, your YouTube channel name is your name. All right. Lovato. We're going to go check that out this evening, girlfriend. I'm so proud of you. Yes. So that's one of my goals, is to start doing live videos. Of course, we'll always meet here once a week, and so far Tuesday seems to be a great night to do that. And but yeah, I want to be more active on my business page as well, just sharing little tips or just chatting or, you know, random stuff. So yes, I've been working on that. You messed up and made another page for your crafts. Do you have another channel name that maybe we can look up, Gina? Linda, you really like that coffee? Me too. I love strong coffee. And so that's my favorite. So I'm just going to wait here for a second to see if Gina has another page name. Linda says, my New Year's goal is to complete UFOs, mine and others. That's a good goal for next year. Barbara does not like strong coffee. You'd have to water this coffee down a little bit. It's kind of strong. Okay. All right, Gina, we'll check out your Gina channel. Maureen says Tuesday doesn't come quick enough. I feel like it goes by really fast too. Maybe I just went through. Yeah, it's almost been an hour and a half. Wow. Gina Bobina. Okay. All right. GinaBobina. Y'all go check out Gina's channel on. Oh, but no videos yet. All right. I'll save it and I'll keep checking back, Gina, for your videos. No pressure, girlfriend. Terry doesn't drink coffee. She's a tea drinker. Who else has thought about making a YouTube channel before we go tonight? Anybody else have an inkling to make a YouTube channel? Ooh, hot apple cider. That sounds good. Chantel says no coffee. So I guess, yeah. Anybody think about making tutorials or just sharing kind of videos for YouTube and creating a YouTube channel? Debbie's thought about it. Bonnie's thought about it. I would watch. I care. Terry's thought about it. It's okay. Yeah, it's scary. Sally thought about it for 3 seconds. 3 seconds. Good night, Beverly. So, okay, before we close, we'll chat about this if y'all want to chat about this for a second. Okay, I'm not a great YouTube channel maker, video maker, okay? And you don't have to be. If you have a passion for the things that you're creating, that's engaging enough. When I started making videos, okay, I had I had been feeling like I wanted to make videos because all of this stuff with my t-shirt quilts, you know, when I was learning how to make them, and I would go to YouTube to find videos on it, and there were very few at the time. And I was like, why does nobody have videos for the stuff that I want to see or learn how to do with these t-shirt quilts, right? And so for a long time, I was feeling like every time I learned something new, that I should be sharing this stuff because I can't be the only one who is asking these questions, right? So yeah, and I kept having this feeling I should make a video, and then I was like, no, I could never do that. I'm too scared. I don't like being in front of the camera. And then finally, I was at church one day, and I forget exactly what the message was about that day, but even the worship songs and everything was just lined up telling me, you know, not to be controlled by my fear, and that, you know, if I conquered that, some really awesome things would come out of it. So look at us tonight, right? If I had never made those videos, we wouldn't be talking tonight, right? If I had never stepped out of my comfort zone, you wouldn't know all of these awesome people. We wouldn't have shared all these awesome projects tonight, right? And so, yeah, and Lord knows, if you go back, if you go back to my very first videos, they're over an hour long to teach you something it would take 15 minutes to get through, okay? I didn't know how to edit videos. Harlan shot my first couple of videos for me, but I couldn't, you know, he works full time. I couldn't always wait for him to get home to do a project. So then I started doing the whole process. It's something that you have to learn, just like making a quilt. And the more you do it, the easier and the better you get, right? And so I want to encourage you, if you have thought about it, and I'm losing track of the comments now, but if you have thought about making tutorials or making videos or just sharing your stuff on a YouTube channel and you want help with that, I would love to help you with that. Okay? I would love to help you. And I'm going to also let you know that if you are you feel like you're being called to make videos and to teach other people or just inspire other people through your videos, you can use that as an income source to your household. You can monetize your YouTube channel. Okay, maybe you're someone who works from home and you have really great cleaning tips that you want to share with people. Make a video. Maybe you love baking videos, cooking, making soups, all kinds of stuff, decorating your house. Maybe you're really good with budgets and finances and you could share how to budget. If you get enough followers and subscribers on your YouTube channel, you can monetize and earn an income, a secondary income to your household. If you want to learn how to do that, let me know. Maybe we'll do a video on it. I'm not saying you'll be a millionaire, because I certainly don't make bukus amounts of money off of my YouTube, but every little bit helps. And if you have an Etsy shop and you're making projects on commission for other people and you have a little YouTube channel and, you know, maybe you can become an Amazon affiliate. That's 4 different revenue streams coming into your household. Maybe you want to quit your job and work from home. Let's talk. If you want to do that, let me know. I wish so much we were not so far apart across the country. I know. So, all right, as we close tonight, I posted on my Lisa Capen Quilts. This is kind of going to hit with what Terry just said. In February, the Mid-Atlantic Quilt Festival is coming. I do know, I've heard from several people who live within driving distance. If you want to come to the quilt show, I would love to have like a group lunch with everybody. Think about it. I don't know if y'all live close enough to driving distance that in February you want to drive to Hampton, Virginia. But it is so much fun. If you're shopping for a machine, I might have said buku. I don't remember. They have all these machines out you can play with. They have long arms you can play with. They have booth after booth after booth of fabric, quilting fabric, muslins, silks, batiks, wool, fleece. They have all these neat little gadgets and they do demonstrations. And I think they said there were over 2,000 quilts on display. I might have that number wrong. But yes, the Mid-Atlantic Quilt Festival in Hampton, Virginia. It starts on my birthday, February the 27th, and it goes like for 4 days. They do classes, so you could take classes and workshops. Am I having a sleepover? That would be fun, right? I think my studio is big enough. We could set up some cots or something. That would be fun. Oh, Sandy, you're wintering in Florida. You're going to rough it this year. You'll be down where it's nice and warm. Last year it snowed, but not bad. Barbara's 5 hours away for the drive. She's been to Virginia Beach Fest. And she's going to the Smoky Mountain Quilt Festival in March. Bonnie is 6 hours and 57 minutes away. Have a retreat. Oh yeah, so did y'all, okay, the quilting world is big. All right, there's lots of people I've never heard of, and I've been quilting a long time, but when you say a name like Bonnie Hunter, not many people have not heard of Bonnie Hunter. She is opening up a quilting retreat like house, like it's an old farmhouse. She's been working on it for a long time now in Virginia. That would be fun to go there. Intel's in Canada, so that's a little far away. Anyway, I'm just throwing that out there as we close for tonight, that if traveling is not an issue, if Hampton, Virginia sounds like somewhere you'd love to visit in the wintertime, the Mid-Atlantic Quilt Festival is an awesome show to go to. And yeah, it's so much fun. So think about it. If you're within driving distance, Debbie, it's in Hampton at the convention center near the Hampton Coliseum, right off of Interstate 64. So you probably passed it on your way to my house. Sally, you saw Bonnie's video yesterday? Yeah, that's exciting for her. It looks like it would be such a fun place to go to with a group of friends. I don't know how much I would get done on a retreat like that. Honestly, how much do you get done? But it would still be just fun to go. And it looks like it's in a very pretty area. Oh, the retreat house. Where did she say? It was, I forget the town name. I'm going to draw a little map. Okay, so like this top dot is like Harrisonburg up here. She's down here in this direction. And I forget the name of the town, but if you search Bonnie Hunter on YouTube or if you join her Facebook group, there's lots of information on it. But yeah. All right, y'all. I've had so much fun tonight. I'm glad we just sat and chatted at the end of tonight because I do like to chat with you and have a chance to read your comments and answer questions and just catch up, really. And so I'm glad we were able to do that. I hope y'all have a fantastic evening. Remember, if you have specific questions, it's really helpful to share your pictures on our group. Don't forget our challenge for this week. I can't wait to see what kind of stuff starts popping up. Who knows what this might mean to you, stuff that you would not want to run out of. That could be anything. So, yes, I hope you have a fantastic evening. And we'll see you all really soon. I love you guys so much. Have a good night, okay? Bye.